Can you keep an eye on freedom for me? Well, it's a new day. I haven't checked in for a while, and we got a new spot. We're going to see how this goes. Big wind on the other side, but there's just a word that's been floating through my mind these last few weeks. I don't know how things are going for you, but the word that I seem to be stuck on is relentless. Not just for me here, but for everybody that's dealing with so much, especially the police and the riots and the wildfires and just the crazy chaos that's going on out there. I just keep coming back to that word. It's just relentless. So I'm going to take a few minutes today to talk about how to cope when you're faced with an endless sea of adversity in front of you. Just a few quick tips. Check in, let you know what's going on here. And with that, we're going to take a deep breath, and I will see you on the other side. So like so many of you, we have been enduring record-breaking heat, crazy climate conditions that have something to do with the fire. Last night was the first night. It wasn't just this weird, creepy thing. And, you know, an endless amount of work that still needs to be done. I can't believe it's taking me this long. Here we are at the end of August. And the way I keep describing it is like I'm rushing towards one of those doors that's closing, and I'm running as fast as I can, but I have to keep stopping and resting before you slide at the last moment underneath. And so there's a couple things around that. One, I don't think that it's just going to ever end in our near foreseeable future. I think this idea of relentless is something that we're going to have to cope with and endure for quite some time. And so I've just been trying to talk myself through this. This is kind of giving me my own pep talk. So as I watch to edit it, maybe it will help. Because the three things I really want to say when it comes to adversity is to be brave, to be strong, and remember that we are focused on building what is next. You know, there's a lot of people involved in the fight, but there also needs to be people who are focused on building what is next. And in this time of destruction and loss, now the wind found me, it can be really hard to stay focused on that because it's in the distant future. So be brave, be strong, and remember we are building what is next. But before you can build anything new, you got to take the old apart. And that part is where the adversity really hits home. But you have to survive the fallout. You know, you have to go out and look around and see how bad it was. And then the second word that I like is rising from the ashes to build in the aftermath. And we aren't even close to fallout or aftermath yet. But that's where I'm focused, how to get through this incredibly long chunk of time that does not seem to have any break to it whatsoever. So here's just a couple simple things, Jill, that help manage the intense feelings of frustration, uncertainty, anxiety, worry, depression, loss, grief, sadness, despair. I saw morose in my journal. It's just all that heavy stuff in the face of great adversity. How do you move through the adversity and get to the overcome? Because I think this is going to be a long one. So number one is just keep a routine and a structure and stick to it. You know, I always do that with the animals because my life has been so disrupted by everything in the trailer, not having a home yet. It's been extremely difficult to establish my routine and my structure. You know, I've been living the same way. Sorry, I need to take a bath and wash my hair and put on clean clothes. But it's extremely difficult and chaos to come up with a brand new system or structure. So stick as close as you can to the systems and the structures that you had. Think 24-hour day. What do you do from the moment your eyes open up to the moment you go to sleep? Build in as much simple structure as you can to help keep you sane when you need to ground because you're just overwhelmed by the relentlessness of it all. 2. Remember, this is a time in adversity when you need as much sleep as you can get. Now, for like the firefighters, I think at this point they're working 72-hour shifts. And so sleep is not an option. But you have to remember, when your body is under extreme stress, and that's just the heat all by itself, not even including all the stress around what we're all going through, your body is dumping minerals, your body is burning its adrenaline, your stress response is activated. And one of the things you need to recover is sleep. So give yourself permission to get a little extra sleep. And I'm going to also add, do not forget to add in your potassium, your sodium, all those other minerals. Because if you're like me and you're sweating buckets drenched every day, you need minerals. So number 3 is don't fight the feeling. If you're feeling sad or feeling angry, agitated, depressed, whatever that anxious, terrible feeling that you have is, don't push, don't fight against it saying no, 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 because that's more energy that you're exerting. So if you just don't do anything, take a deep breath, eventually it kind of passes on its own. It doesn't mean you're going to solve the problem or end the issue. But if you just don't react and push against, the feeling itself will kind of dissipate, unlike the heat. Number 4, create tiny moments of comfort, consistency, and familiarity. Whatever little tiny routines you have, or little treats or things that you can do for yourself, like even just for me at the end of the day, taking a bath or being able to wash my hair, that is so refreshing and helpful. So don't get so stressed out that you don't build in little tiny moments where you allow yourself to kind of recover. My big thing is if I get a little bit of ice, because the refrigerator is gone, it's been awful. Number 5 is sometimes we just need to vent. And so if you don't have somebody or another person that you can vent to, even just talking aloud to yourself will be helpful. You know, my preference is to write it out. There's actually a whole physiological effect that comes when you write things out. So whatever you can do to vent, say it, write it, let it go. It's just like you're letting steam out of the engine. It's okay to be having a bad day. If you're really super stuck and you're totally overwhelmed with the relentlessness of it all, break everything down into super micro steps, meaning I'm going to walk from the front to the back. I'm going to pick up the paper towel. I'm going to go clean that new mess that just appeared. So super micro steps will help when you just have that overwhelming feeling like I can't do anything. And then one kind of leads to the other. And so, which leads me into 7, just set one daily goal for yourself. If you're like me, you have a humongous to-do list, and I still can't believe all this has taken me so long. But every once in a while, I can step back and say, you know, I have done so many little things. There's a huge cumulative effect. And so, sometimes it takes those of us longer than we would like it to. But in addition to your micro steps, only give yourself one tangible, accomplishable goal for the day. So that at the end of the day, you can feel like, okay, even if I was too tired and too hot and too sweaty and too lightheaded and too hungry to do anything else, at least I took one step forward. And the last one is let it go. None of us want this. None of us have control over what's happening. Trying to move into problem solving, try to move into blaming, understanding, explaining, rationalize, validating, making fun of, humiliating others, all this other stuff that we do, that's all energy that's negatively connected. When you're in a relentless overwhelm of adversity, you have to really pull your focus in on what's important. And what's important is not commentary on what everybody else is doing. What's important is your survival. So bring your focus in and let everything else go. And that's where hopefully you have a little faith, trust, and prayer to get you over that last hump. So what I'd love it if you would do in the comments below, put down any kind of steps that help you move through the adversity to overcome when it feels relentless. Also, any good quotes. I think sometimes it's really helpful to hear, short quotes and stories about people who have been through things before. I always like to watch those underdog movies because it just boosts me up a little bit. And then at the very end of the day, remember, everything you are doing is about being brave, being strong, and building what is next. There's nothing in there that says it's comfortable, it feels good, it's fun, it's easy. Because if it was easy, it'd be done already and we would be happy-go-lucky. So for those of you who are committed to the hard work of facing what's coming towards us and are excited about the prospect of building what is next, we are in for a long haul of relentless adversity. And with that, I'm going to say one more time, be brave, be strong. Take a deep breath, and I will see you next time. I'll probably still be sweaty, dirty, tired, and gross.